Welcome to my YouTube channel, Dennis the Monk. I'm Dennis Vishakovsky, and the topic for today is friendship reaching out. I want to give a shout out to the love of my life, Stephen Favreau, who is with our dearest friend, one of our closest friends in the United States, Robin Barron in New York. So, hi guys. Today I want to share with you the importance of allowing ourselves to be and accept where we are at any given time. This week has been an extraordinary experience of self-reflection and awareness. Within this week, numerous people that I care about have been struggling, and it's not just here in Massachusetts, but in Florida, in California, in Iowa, Montana, Italy, all over the world. We all suffer at various times. Suffering, I hate to say this, suffering is a gift. It feels horrible, but it has the ability to be a gift as long as we're not creating our own suffering. So back in my monastery days, there was this saying that a cross is something of which you have no choice. It's something that you are powerless over, and you carry it, like Jesus carrying his cross, Christians carry their cross. However, a burden is something that we create, and we do have power over, but we allow it to happen. So we carry our burdens, we carry our crosses. So changing the language around a little bit, we suffer. Suffering is part of life. When it's something that we're not creating on our own, it has an incredible capacity to teach us. It is an amazing teaching tool. It teaches us about ourselves. So I'll share a couple experiences with you. A friend of my brother, we'll just call him John. He contacted me, reached out on Facebook or something, or Instagram, and shared with me that he was really struggling with some depression. And he was reaching out, and I was a day late when I read it, but as soon as I read it, I reached back to him, and within a short period of time, we're on a conversation. He traveled. He got a divorce, struggling, left the state that he lived in to be closer to his family. As he's talking to me, he's telling me about his travels, and he traveled to visit his parents and family, and he's really feeling down. Well, he was really saying goodbye to everyone. He was thinking of taking his life. He's in such a state of depression and sorrow and suffering. And as soon as I called him, I talked to him, and I shared about cognitive distortions. There's 10 cognitive distortions: all or nothing thinking, overgeneralization, mind reading. You can look them up. You don't need me to tell you. But those cognitive distortions are the ways that we think that causes burdens for us. We have power over those, and when we allow ourselves to be self-aware, we can confront those issues that we're creating. So let's see, all or nothing thinking. I've been trying to lose weight, I'm going to the gym, and I gain a pound back. Oh my God, this is not working. I've been on this program, telling myself this. I've been on this program for 70 days. It really has been 70 days. And I only lost 6 pounds and I gained 1 back. This is not worth it. I overgeneralized it. It was worth it. It's, for whatever reason, it's taking so long. But for me to say it's not worth it, but it's the internal dialogue or the feelings. Some people think first, feel second, and others feel first and then think after. Whatever the case may be, we give them power when we don't pay attention to them. We give those feelings or thoughts that are distortions power over us, and it causes a friction, causes pain, it causes sorrow, and oftentimes suffering. So my friend John, identified with what I was saying. He was starting to feel better. Well, at the same time, he has circumstances in his life that would cause anyone depression. Divorced his wife of 30 plus years, found out she wasn't interested over the past 10 years, heartbreak there. left his daughter with his wife because she was young and thought it would be best for his daughter. And he loves his daughter and is feeling that pain. And he's uprooted himself and he's now in a different place. So high stress elements are change of job, change of home, change. Well, he has, and he's really suffering. I was able to help him and also reaching out to him and that kind of stuff. But my point is, he recognized the cognitive distortions. Well, there's other distortions that affect us in a negative way. So remember, now we have suffering, and suffering is something that we're powerless over. For example, we're powerless over persons, places, or things. And then the things of which we have power over, but they're choices that we make can cause us burdens. Sometimes it is because of an emotional, intellectual laziness. Sometimes it's because of fear that we don't confront these issues. And sometimes it's because we have such a lack of confidence in ourselves. We don't trust ourselves. No, here's another example. A dear friend of mine, my fiance Stephen left for New York for a weekend. And so I'm alone, and gave me the opportunity to reach out to some friends. There's one friend I reached out to. She is probably one of the most selfless people I've ever met, right across the board, with family, friends, and so forth. And she's always servicing and helping other people. Well, she was feeling anxiety, rightfully so. Her husband just died about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago. It's around the holidays. She has a son who's in his 20s who is severely autistic and is struggling. And one thing that she has is things that she's powerless over. The death of her husband, taking care of a son that needs to be changed. So she has a cross to carry, or she's suffering. Well, one thing I know about this woman, she is selfless and she holds herself to really high expectations. And a situation occurred where in her work area, where she is number one, she's been in this business for 40 years. She's a brilliant mind. She has down the strategies, everything about this. And so she's a person that you can go to for wisdom. She's a person that you can go to who will speak the truth and understands, and she's also intuitive. Well, someone said something about her to somebody else. Well, my friend, there was trying to figure out what's going on because it was causing us such anxiety and stress. And this is what we discovered in our dialogue, that she questions her ability. She is probably one of the best in her field, and she's questioning the integrity and her own source of reasoning relative to this situation. She's actually questioning herself and thinking she did something wrong, where the truth is she didn't. Now, here's the challenge. Most of us don't like confrontation. We feel less than when we confront. We're afraid of people are not going to like us. There's a lot of things of which we're afraid. Or we don't like conflict, period conflict. Well, for her, it was a situation where she just didn't understand, or she didn't see her value and her worth. And she didn't recognize the gift that she has. And when I just slowly brought it up to her, methodically, she got it. And now she had anxiety all day long. Her anxiety went away because she had a spiritual, emotional friction, like an emotional, spiritual distortion. She actually knew the truth, but was questioning the truth because of what someone else said that was horrible. And she's questioning herself. And once she made the commitment to confront the situation because she was right, and because she has that wisdom and she's very capable, her suffering diminished, and in this case, went away. So sometimes we're powerless over persons, places, or things, but we're not powerless over the way we think and the way we feel. We're not powerless over how we communicate and confront situations. We can make ourselves defenseless, we can make ourselves powerless, but it's a choice. And the times that we do not confront situations and we make up all these excuses, there's a trigger, and I can tell you what it is, how you will know if you're if you're having this issue. See, I'll make this quick. When any situation goes on around us, when we respond, we are in control. When we react, we're out of control. It's different. It's reaction versus responding. Again, I'll take a scripture. In the scripture, whether you believe it's real or not, it's a good story. I believe it. And there's this story where Jesus is in the temple, and he is seeing his father's house becoming a den of thieves because people are exchanging money and they're selling sacrifices and they're taking advantage of the poor. Well, in anger, he throws over the tables and he pushes everybody out, makes a big scene. Well, he took the energy. See, he wasn't reacting. He was responding to the situation. His anger was controlled and was used to help other people, not to defend himself or satisfy himself. And so, hence, justified anger is when we take the energy and we use it for good. Whatever that energy is, and justified means there's good reason why you're angry, like genocide or people that do things horrible to other people. So, in this case, Jesus, that's what he did. He responded to the situation. When we react, let's call that a trigger. And when you feel gut-wrenching, yuck reaction inside of yourself, know that either your spirit or your heart is like this. You're doing two opposite things that are opposing objective truth and objective love. Now, I've talked about objective truth and objective love in the past. I use reason, scribble opposition, logic. That's based on objective truth. That's what objective truth is based on. Objective love, I base it on 1 Corinthians 13, 15 attributes of what love looks like. It's easy to see. It's all black and white. It's an assessment tool. It's not a judgment tool. And you can assess. So when I react to something, it takes me out of my ability to be in objective truth. When I react to something, it takes me out of the ability to be in objective love, meaning I am allowing myself to filter the world around me through objectivity and not an emotional or reactivity. Remember, reactivity or reaction is when we are out of control. So when someone brings something up to you that is truth, and you have a reaction to that, know that it's not something wrong with the other person. It's something wrong with you or me. It's one of two things. We're seeing that something is wrong and we're reacting to it, or we're defending ourselves and we're reacting to it. Remember, we want to be in control in responding, because that's when we are in our authentic self, emotionally, spiritually, physically, intellectually, when we are responding. When we are reacting, we are out of alignment, we're not into balance. For all my friends, I wish you the gift of being in balance, particularly during the holiday seasons. That can be very, very challenging because of past circumstances. And many times it's the most depressing time of the year for a lot of people, even though the world is showing that it's supposed to be a time of celebration. Let's not hide behind the facades, because in friendship, we make ourselves vulnerable so that we can give and receive. We share the good and the bad and the ugly. And when we do, those elements lose power over us so that we can respond to the world around us. But we can't do it alone. We need friendship. We need relationship where we can be transparent, share our secrets so they don't have power over us. Because when something has power over us, it has the ability to cause us to react. And we can't respond and be with our authentic self. Thank you for joining me on Dennis the Monk. I am Dennis the Monk. I'll come back next week. 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Same time, same mustache. Love you, Stephen, Robin, Donna, all my friends. Love you all. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye now.